Good morning, gentlefolk, and welcome back to Dark Souls 2, with me, your glorious host, Screamy. Now, between last episode and this, I've obviously made dear man-eater Mildred alive again, as well as some other things. I've upgraded our Estus Flask, it says 5 uses now, put 2 more levels into our club, it's a +7 and very useful, and also started upgrading the greatsword we picked up last episode. An even heavier weapon that I think will... The Great Club is a tenderizer, so I think this one will be the chopper, or possibly the slicer. I think slicer, yes. Or the big knife. The meat knife? Something. Undecided. Anyway, we are going for the flexile sentry, whatever we are calling this beautiful piece of kitchen cutlery. Slice! Yes. Yeah, we go for the slicer. We might find a large axe later, and we'll call that one the chopper. I mean, we're definitely getting the cleaver, but that already has a fancy name. All my weapons are going to be kitchen themed, of course. If you hadn't figured, this one has a lot better. Actually, it has the same. 70 and... yeah, they both have the same durability. However, I have a niggling feeling the attacks on the greatsword will drain durability a little lower. The great clubs are a little weird in the way they fall apart. Which is, well, quickly for starters, but quicker than it should. Which is a bit odd, and does mean that it's kind of bad for prolonged battles. Yeah, this is quite a lot of enemies chopped up, and hasn't drained that much durability. The Great Club would be in far worse shape after this. But you know, I love the old tenderizer. I shan't rag on it. Very nice dodge there, thank you, man-eater. Oh, come on! Stand still so I can kill you. Ow, 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 ow. No, he wouldn't. Do not underestimate the revengeance, they can deal an amazing amount of damage very quickly if you're not careful. Ah yes, Lucatil we talked to earlier, she's now getting to help out. It's a heavy attack on this, by the way. Nice swing there. Ooh, it has got a nice swing. Yes, 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 yes. I think this weapon can come in. I think this weapon will come in handy. I always try to have more than one weapon well upgraded, as well as weapons of dealing several damage types. The Great Club deals thumping damage? Yes, thumping damage, that's what we're calling it. And as such is fantastic against heavily armored enemies. But there are enemies that are well protected against crushing damage. That is properly called, not thumping damage, I don't know what that is. Oh yes. Yes, I can see myself enjoying this weapon. I must say, I haven't upgraded this before. Not entirely sure why, I've just decided not to previously. I sometimes have weird ideas regarding things. Come on, come up. Goodbye to you. A Varangian sword. Probably won't use it this time. It is one of my favorite weapons, but due to the attack style, speed and damage, it moves kind of like a broadsword. Typical single-handed sword, but is a lot more powerful. Tends to fall apart easily, but... ah, this is Carillion of the Fold. He will teach you your first sorcery spells. We are not... The man-eater Mildred is a little bit on the thick side, though, so we won't be bothering with him just this round. Maybe with the next character. It's not impossible. There might be more Dark Souls recordings. I do enjoy the game. I haven't decided about other games on the channel yet. I'm gonna get a nice portfolio of... the sword solves all problem. I'm gonna get a nice portfolio of Dark Souls episodes before I start bothering with others. I might revisit Darkest Dungeon. That horrific, horrific game that makes me so sad. Oh, Varangian armor. Now I've got pants, armor and cuff. Only lacking the helmet. Maybe I got that previously. Ooh, that's a lot of nice damage. Nope. We got everything else though. We could dress up as a Viking, should we feel like it. But we don't. We do not feel like it. If you do feel like it, you're wrong. And for the boss, I think we'll stick to this since this is the most highly upgraded. Should be doing far more damage than the other one. See if Lucadale can get down. The NPCs have a slight pathing problem and tend to get stuck on things like thin air. Meaning you occasionally have to fight alone, despite having a summon. Ooh! We don't have that many dodge frames, we should improve that. Didn't get to put any points in it, since our health was woefully low. And I needed to put 2 points in dexterity to be able to wield that gigantic knife sword thingy. You know, Lucadale of Mira might not be the best damage dealer, but man is she good at standing still and taking a beating. You can hang that one on your mantelpiece. You are ace when it comes to taking damage. Well done, you. Goodbye. Goodbye, you weird, weird woman. We didn't actually need to defeat the Flexile Sentry, as, well, they are called, I suppose. It's mostly for casters. You will see when I open this marvelous chest and uncover the Pyromancy Flame. A weapon, or not actually a weapon. It's more like a casting tool. Ah yes, there she is. Captain of the ship, Mildred the Man-Eater. Chef, lover, dismemberer, protagonist. That's something to put on a gravestone, isn't it? Ah, as you see over there, we have the Lost Bastille, which we have now managed to uncover from 2 different directions, which is quite neat. Won't be... Actually, I can explore this side. There are some useful things that will help us in defeating the next boss, which can be a bit tough, especially if you're bad at rolling, which, well, let's face it, I am. How many dodge frames do I have? 91, that's not nearly enough. You really want to go to 100. Between 99 and 100 it goes up 2 frames. You get 2 extra invincibility frames. That might not actually might not make any sense to you, but let's just say it increases your survivability quite a lot. Makes dodging a lot easier. A bit confused here. Loafing around the beautiful prison. You could have gotten out. Doors open. But no. I'm gonna lie here and cry. Ah, the Lost Bastille. We return once more. We should spend these 17,000 souls. That's quite a lot. Should be able to make something out of that. We really need more invincibility frames, especially for the boss. I want to go up to 95. It usually increases every 5 agility. And to increase agility, there on the right, the easiest way is to increase adaptability. Attunement also gives it increases, but far less so. You have to get quite a lot of adaptability for your agility to increase. This would put it quite a lot ahead of the others, but I think the extra boost we get at 95 will make it worth it. I think. I could be wrong. It happens. Some would argue quite frequently. I would scorn them. I would look at them funny. You don't say those things against me. Say those things against me. That's not how you say it, is it? Yes. The big knife. Lovely big knife. Did I kill the Hide Knight over at the first tree? The depressed knight sitting around. Not sure. Well, I'm gonna kill this at any rate. Murder doesn't need a purpose, murder is a purpose. Yes. Come on, defend yourself! Or don't. You can't, can you? Ah, the Hide Spear. Fantastic weapons if you're going for a holy build. We are not exactly going holy, quite the opposite in fact. And to be fair, even if I am rolling a holy build, I very seldom use the Hide Spear. It requires a lot of dexterity. Lots of dexterity, which puts it on odds with most other faith weapons. And by the way, it's fairly weak relative to the dexterity it requires. At least I think so. I mean, I haven't actually upgraded and used Hide Spear, so I could be talking out of my ass. That too happens a lot. But you can usually tell which weapons are useful by seeing which weapons you face in PvP and that other players use. Other players are usually quite adept. People are usually quite adept at sniffing out the good weapons and then abusing the shit out of them, which can be quite entertaining. As you get to follow trends in equipment. Even if you don't know a patch has come out, you can usually tell, because a new weapon is horribly abused by all the invaders. Not to mention in the arenas. There are arenas of the Blue and the Red Covenant, and well, let's just say the people who face the friendliest chaps tend to be of the inclination win at all costs, regardless of what exploits you have to use. If you want to learn to play well, the arenas might not be for you, but if you want to learn what's horribly abusive to other players, that is definitely the place to go. Knocking the stone in there. Hello! And you get a lot of new friends. That's pretty sweet. And I can't pick up the items. Well, that's disheartening. That's fairly unique. I will disappear when I use the bonfire, and it will never come back, ever. No matter, wasn't particularly interested, I just thought I'd show you what's there. It is the Wanderer set. The armor set, one of the classes to begin with, called the Wanderer. And it's a really good light armor set. That we shan't bother with, because we have, well, we're Manity of Mildred. We have our own equipment we will use. Oh yes we do. Some random tat. I did not mean to do that! Hitting those barrels should not set them off as far as I'm concerned. Unless you have a burning sword. Huh. Why did that happen? Oh! Oh my lord! It never occurred to me. If you hit the floor, sparks are created. Sparks might be able to set them off. I'm gonna make another clinical test. No? Interesting! Because I know you can destroy them by hitting them without causing massive explosions. That's a pretty good shield. But, yeah, well, now some occasions, previous occasions in PvP, make a lot more sense. Where I've set out, I can't speak today, where I've set off barrels without really knowing how I did so. Let's see what's in here. Well, I know what's in here, but you don't. Bone stuff, for dark magic. Okay staff, but very, very slow. Not recommended, really, for anything. Padding dagger. A very light weapon, dexterity weapon. that has increased parry frames. Not enough of them though. I've tried to parry with it and I couldn't pull it off more than a few times. And never actually in PvP. Not a good weapon, simply. And the last one was the Twin Blade. Kind of an interesting weapon. I'll show it off. It's a dexterity weapon, so we won't actually be using it, but it hasn't got a lot of attack. But using these attacks, you see that it hits quite a lot of times. Quite a large number of times with each attack, making it do a lot more damage than it seems it would do. The damage per second is very high despite the individual attacks being weak. Also very useful for poison enchanting, since poison doesn't really care about the power of the attacks you're landing, but rather the number of them. Now, I haven't been paying attention to time much, but we might have time for the next boss. Yes. I have faith. Faith I have. Don't judge me. Let's see, how much do we need for the next level? You can see that on top. I will increase that level, yes. Would be a shame if I died on the boss, which is quite possible. It's going to be a difficult one, you will see. Taking a bit of water. Talking this much makes my mouth go very dry. And I haven't quite got into the microphone habit to the degree where I'm no longer horrendously nervous every episode. That goes up to 95. Fantastic. Well, aren't you a handsome bastard? If you don't know what those spirits are, they are other players that you just briefly glimpse, especially when you're close to one of the bonfires. The closer you are to the bonfire, the more lucid they are, the clearer you can see them. As you move further away, they turn into brief shadows. They cannot affect the game in any way, and you cannot affect their game in any way. Sadly, it'd be quite fun. On the other hand, they'd throw the shit out of you, probably. Oh dear. Woo! He missed. Ha! Bit awkward, both people fighting with ginormous weapons in very tight and close spaces. You will come across those situations. Well, you might not if you don't use huge weapons. But if you do, yep, that's the thing that will happen. Did I kill that guy in vain? No, because if you don't kill him, he will notice you as you get around here. And he will follow you, hunt you down, and you will have a gigantic bastard on your ass as you're trying to fight these gentlemen. This is what I do, and this is what you should do. Take a little step forward, lure them out, get them to the door, chop them up. Because if you go too far ahead, you'll also encounter these gentlemen. And if you just rush in, you'll have the two guys I just defeated, plus these ones. At once. And it will most likely hurt. Oh yeah! That is a nice slice right there. Imagine the heads popping off like champagne corks. Corks? Oh god, what's been my words today? But yes, corks is a new word. Right, this is the part of the boss. You can go here. There's a switch you pull. There are more enemies, so I won't actually go in there. And you should neither. It's much more efficient to take this path down. Don't rush out of this door. It actually leads to an endless abyss. However, you can use this door to jump down here from above if you're feeling brave and need a shortcut. Or was this the shortcut? I can't quite remember. I need to have a look. There is supposed to be a shortcut that lets you... Oh yeah, could it be if you jump down there? No? Ah, I digress. Don't actually jump down there. I'm merely musing. There's this thing I heard. that I, now when witness it, has begun to doubt quite strongly. You can bother those guys if you want. They drop a rather neat armor and highly mediocre greatsword. Not like this one. Weirdly enough, the greatsword, that is, this weapon, is actually not counted as a greatsword. It counts as an ultra greatsword. It's the tier above. They are a lot slower and a lot more powerful. Let's see, do I have any... Ah! The aromatic ooze, the gold pine resin, and the dark pine resin is little things you can add to your weapons to get that extra oomph you will need if you're a non-caster. I will use that. However, I will not use it just yet. Summon Pilgrim Belclair. She's definitely one of the more useful NPCs you can have. She's pretty fantastic. I like Pilgrim. Don't go down, don't go... Oh, you little bastard! Come back up here! Come back up here this instant, young lady! Ow! Well played, you rotter. No! She jumps down again! Oh! She's just decided to make my life difficult today, hasn't she? Healing up. And there's two of them. Yep. You thought this boss was easy. That's until the second one shows up. Healing again, and that's before the third one shows up! Jubilations! Well, first one down. You will always want a summon for this battle. They can mess you up if you're alone. They will mess you up if you're alone. Especially if the first one decides to, Yeah, she planned that. She planned that. You will notice they're all named... You will notice they all have lady names. At least I assume they're lady names. Sweet! I dodged that! That's a very annoying attack, since there's a large number of blows, so rolling is very difficult. Blocking is also very difficult, since every hit from them will drain quite a large amount of stamina from a shield, and if you run out of stamina, smack! You die. Well, you don't, but if you run out of stamina, you will be stunned, and at the mercy of your horrendous enemies. Hell, I forgot to use my aromatic ooze. Well, that went pretty well anyway. Now, one thing I didn't know when on my first playthrough. How could I? But I learned later, thanks to a colleague, oddly enough. Ah yes, you will find these hints everywhere. Sometimes there is a secret door, mostly there aren't. Be wary of ladder. Yeah, very careful. Thing is, you activate them by pressing... Well, pressing the activate button. It differs depending on what you're playing with. You also activate the notes by pressing the activate button. So, I've seen a lot of text on the forums going, if there is a sign in front of the door, how do I open the door, since my character keeps reading the sign? That is not actually a concern. If there is a choice between reading a sign and opening a door, your character will open the door. Opening the door will take priority. So sign will never block a door for you. Now I picked up a bunch of loot. The target shield is it's a slightly heavier version of the buckler. That is a tiny shield with great parrying potential. It's really it's pretty much the only thing I can parry with in PvP. And I'm not alone in this. I've also picked up a mage spell called Hush, which means that your casting it makes your footsteps entirely silent. No one will hear you come. Not that useful. It's quite seldom that is a factor in PvP, the other player's footsteps. But if you're exceptionally sneaky and doing an invasion, or if you're invaded and trying to escape an invader, then if you plan ahead, it's one of those spells that can put the extra touch on a good PvP plan. So, there we go! That's 2 bosses defeated in 1 level. a weapon upgraded, a lot of things done. Quite a splendid episode, I hope. Hope the sound isn't too bad. Anyway, this has been Screamy, and you have been a fantastic audience, as always. Goodbye!